Pop quiz, hotshot. You're in Harlem and you're at this building. You go through the door, enter the security code, take the elevator to the 3rd floor. Knock on this door where Rudy greets you.
Hi, and welcome.
You make your way into a packed apartment and try to find a seat. What do you get? You get a live jazz performance like no other. Every Sunday, Marjorie Elliott and her son Rudell Dreers open the doors to their apartment for people to come and listen to jazz music.
We decided to use our apartment because we can do what we want here. It's just a matter of this is home. So everybody who walks through that door, we treat as family.
And it's a pretty big family. The concerts are so popular that if you're not on time, finding a seat can be a little tricky.
We fill up the living room, the kitchen, the hallway. People will stand out taking videos. It's pretty much like that every Sunday now. You know, it's like it's jam-packed.
The jazz concerts began in 1993 after Rudell's brother Phil passed away.
Well, my brother passed away on a Sunday, and Mommy had the great idea to honor him with concerts on Sundays. You know, when you play music, you just get all your angst out, and it's just a healing feeling. So I think her thing was, you know, what better way to honor him than with a concert? And we've been blessed to never have missed a Sunday.
With their commitment and consistency to play every Sunday, the concerts are now considered legendary in Harlem, attracting audiences from all over the world. Hey Rudell, do you mind if we ask some of the audience members where they came from?
Of course.
I'm from Germany,
France,
Australia, Colombia.
That's pretty cool.
I think once we started, it just took on a life force of its own. Sometimes people come and they don't know what they're going to expect. You know, it's like ring a bell and get free jazz. And then once they get here and they have that experience, it's kind of something they won't forget. For some people, this is their church. People come here and they feel renewed. And we feel renewed. And you never know who you're going to touch out there. So if you're putting out good energy, it's going to work.
Blues is a feeling, and it is an experience. Blues is about something that happens in my life. Rock me all night long. My name is Beverly Watkins. I was born here in Atlanta, Georgia in 1939.
Beverly Watkins was a pioneer for women in blues.
When I was playing back in the 60s, there wasn't no female guitar players, not in Georgia. They said I play like a man, but they're using the wrong terminology. The main thing is because I play so good.
After high school, Beverly began touring with the band Piano Red and the Meter Tones. Shortly thereafter, she was opening for some of the biggest acts in music.
We opened up for James Brown, B.B. King, Otis Redding. I played over 2,000 or 3,000 shows. Back in those days, the artists took time and helped each other.
Her hard classic blues style has evolved over the last 60 years, touring with different bands and eventually going solo.
I never stopped. When they said I should, I didn't pay them no mind, I kept going. Yes, it has gotten hard out there, you know. I clean houses, I worked at car washes, I clean offices, but I never stopped playing my music.
And she has no plans on stopping anytime soon. Well into her 70s, she still puts on a show for the crowd.
It is keeping me living, keeping me going. I'm gonna look good and have a good time and get up there and do my thing.
When it comes to Robert Billboard Walker, ain't nothing he can't do with a guitar. That's why ain't nobody never been able to pick up these styles and things that I got. I'm Robert Billboard Walker, and I'm a legend of the blues. And I always, from a little boy on up, I always wanted to be looked at. I wanted everybody looking at me. I wanted to be one of the guys that everybody said, there he is. That's what inspired me to really make me want to be a musician.
The cool thing about Bilbo Walker is that he grew up in the same Mississippi Delta blues environment as like Charlie Patton or Robert Johnson or Muddy Waters or Howlin' Wolf or B.B. King. And when he performs, it feels like that. It is like a living fossil.
This is one of the Light City. It's not really a nightclub, it's more like a juke joint. It's what the people love down in Mississippi.
It's out there in the boonies, not even a town, it's just out in a field. And I also love the fact that it's just so hard to find right till you're at it.
I didn't want to open in town because town, they got too many roofs. Out here, we ain't got no roof. From the ground up from scratch. That's right, we built it here and put it on the ground.
It's an old Army barracks, Quonset hut, cut in pieces, moved onto his property himself. A real authentic juke joint is gonna be African-American owned because it comes out of that culture. And it's gonna probably have a big personality behind it.
This is 7 years I've been on this thing. But it wouldn't have took that long, but it kept getting robbed and the flood come in and got it. You got nothing in the place. That makes you just want to give up. Then I got ambition about everything inside. I said, no, I'm gonna go on, I'm gonna give it one more chance.
Real juke joints that are still operating with live music, I can probably count on one hand. I used to say, you know, you're not going to get any more juke joints like that. I would have to say Bilbo's just gets grandfathered in. It's just such a real thing, and it's kind of an extension of him and sort of what he's been doing his whole life.
I wanted to be something that people remember me for. See, to make people love you like that, you got to be different. I wanted to come as famous as any place ever been in the world.
Bessie, Olive, Sally, and Jess have one big thing in common. They all love jazz. This is Live Oak, Florida, a small town west of Jacksonville. Not the type of place you associate with jazz, and yet, there's Ed.
I'm a dairy farmer here in North Florida, home to about 6,800 cows.
That Ed, he can really blow. He's been playing trombone since elementary school, but his audience has changed. This is his story.
The first time I can remember the cows coming up is I was just standing out in the backyard and playing a trombone, and all the cows came up to the fence. I had a full audience. They're not particularly critical either. Cows are very much creatures of habit. The music is something that's out of the norm, and that's why they're entertained. The cows have an ability to understand what's threatening and what's pleasing, and music is definitely pleasing to them. I have no idea if it's the one heifer heard the music and the rest of them are following the other heifer, but it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all having a good time. My dad told me when we were kids, he said, it's important from day one how we take care of animals. And we like to consider ourselves good stewards of the land, good stewards of the animals. Playing the trombone is not any different than going out and how we feed our cows and we take care of our cows. It's all about our interaction with these animals. Our animals, they care. And so you play music to them, they will remember that.
It's November 6th, 1814. In the Belgian city of Dinant, in a modest house built on a street that would later bear his name, Adolphe Sax was born. 28 years later, while living in Paris, Sax would invent the saxophone and revolutionize music in ways he couldn't imagine. But this isn't that story. This is the story of how Adolphe Sax escaped death 7 times before inventing the saxophone. Hardly old enough to stand, the young Adolphe fell down 3 flights of stairs. The stone floor broke his fall. At the age of 3, Adolphe swallowed a bowl of watered-down sulfuric acid, mistaking it for milk. Years later, Adolphe found himself a bit too close to a gunpowder explosion. He was again burned when a cast-iron frying pan was knocked over onto him. Later, a roof stone fell on his head, leaving a lifelong scar. Adolphe once nearly asphyxiated when recently varnished items were left in his bedroom overnight. He woke up, barely. Playing with friends in a nearby river, Adolphe was swept up in a swift current and nearly drowned. Again, he survived. On February 7th, 1894, Adolphe died peacefully in Paris. The saxophone had already crossed the Atlantic, primed to evolve into an icon of American jazz music and guaranteeing Sax his immortality.
I never thought in a million years that I would be here in Japan singing the music that my grandmother introduced me to. I'm a testament to say that no matter how big your dreams are, they can definitely be achieved. Eh, 僕の本名が、ジェローム・ホワイトなんですけども、芸名は、ジェロで、演歌歌手をしております。Enka is a form of Japanese music, so it's only sung in Japan. It is considered an older genre of music. I call it Japanese blues because all of the lyrics are very sad, melodramatic. They often talk about lost loves and heartbreak. It uses a lot of imagination. It really doesn't spell out the meaning of the song for you, so everyone who listens to the music can have their own interpretation. I was born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My grandmother, she was originally from Yokohama. I basically went to my grandmother's house just about every weekend. She listened to Enka music all the time. I think it was a way for her to keep Japan in her heart, even while she was living in the US. I started singing around 5 years old. My grandmother would always say, "You sing so well." Just to see a smile on her face would just brighten my day because I loved her so much. Because I had so much love for Enka and wanted to know what the lyrics I was singing meant, I started studying Japanese in high school and throughout college. I was always interested in Japan and where my mom and my grandmother came from, so I moved to Japan to become an Enka singer. The very first time I stood on the stage and sang for a crowd was actually on TV, kind of like American Idol. I was given so much praise and it made me feel really, really good. They were just so surprised, like, why would a 20-something American be listening to a genre like this? And it kind of worked in my favor. I started singing professionally in 2008. There's never been an American who's been on stage singing Enka professionally here in Japan. I've had the opportunity to do different types of songs, children's songs, musicals, TV dramas. I think I've been really embraced wholeheartedly from the Japanese audience. Me singing Enka really was a way for me to connect to Japan and connect with my grandmother. And to this day, the love I have for Enka has not changed.